of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item is sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects are near or closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.
And go.
All right, everybody, what's going on? My name is Koz, and you have stumbled upon WTF Nation Radio. This is our Sunday show, Kicking It with Koz. We are the voice of U.S. Army WTF Moments, and welcome to Kicking It with Koz on this awesome Sunday evening, rather. If you guys are here, thank you so much. Because we have a little bit of competition tonight as far as viewers, because some football game or something is happening that people are really excited about. Haven't been bit by the football bug for at least the last couple of years. It's just hasn't been of interest to me. I don't care. I can take it or leave it. If I'm somewhere and the game's on, I'll watch it. But I'm not taking time out of my schedule to watch a game, but I do pay attention to the stats, and I do know that it's the San Francisco 49ers, which are 15-3, going against the Kansas City Chiefs, which are 14-4. Right now, they just started halftime, and the score is tied at 10. So it seems like it's a pretty good matchup, a pretty good game. I'm not sure of how everything has been scored so far, but. San Francisco did score first, but then Kansas City answered right back with a touchdown and an extra point. So, I guess we'll find out. We'll keep everybody posted if you want to pay attention to the show. You know what? I think right now all of the everybody who's watching the halftime show right now. See, there's you have the entire United States, right? We're 50 states. So you got. Everybody who's from California is rooting for the 49ers. Everybody who's, from Missouri is rooting for Kansas City. Everybody else in the rest of the country is probably wishing for like a wardrobe malfunction during halftime. Because we have the lovely Jennifer Lopez and Shakira. The hips don't lie. So there's that. Anyway, today is the second day of February 2020. Now that's kind of interesting. It is kind of interesting because maybe you've seen it online. They call this today's date is a palindrome. So a palindrome is like a word or phrase or like a sequence that reads the same forward as backwards. Like dad is a palindrome. Forward and backwards it says dad. So today is 02/02/2020, February 2nd, 2020. It's also an ambigram. I haven't seen that thrown out there except on the post that I made this morning at 6 o'clock before I went to work. It's an ambigram also. And an ambigram is an art form or symbolic representation whose elements retain their meaning when they're viewed from a different direction or perspective or in orientation.
All right.
If you go to my Koz page, I have a post this morning that shows. It kind of puts a picture to the definition. So.
Well, I'm done doing my stuff.
I was just explaining that today is 02/02/2020.
Oh, okay.
It's a palindrome day. Because if you, like I said, a palindrome reads the same forward as it does backwards.
Yes, it does. And hello, Eric. No, there was nothing on the screen because I'm sure you all did not want to see me messing with the computer. And making my mistakes and correcting them.
You don't make mistakes.
No, I don't make mistakes.
Slight hiccups or challenges.
Slight
hiccups or challenges.
But it all turns out good, and we're ready. We're up and we're running, and everybody looks good, and everybody sounds good. Hello.
Man, today, I woke up this morning, it was 42 degrees. It warmed up to 82 degrees today.
Oh,
what
wow.
What the heck is going on?
That's not bad at all.
It was a warm day. It was chilly this morning. I did wear a jacket to work, but way back, man, I could have been wearing shorts, man. It was it warmed up quick and it stayed warm. But then, wait for it, Wednesday we're supposed to have a wintry mix.
Really?
So, the world's ending.
Jeez. I do I dare say it? Hell is going to freeze over, huh?
Oh, possibly. Today's Super Bowl Sunday. Like I was mentioning earlier, we got the Kansas City Chiefs battling the 49ers of San Francisco.
Yes,
for the coveted Super Bowl Lombardi Trophy.
Hello, Holly. How are you doing? Hello, Rob. Good to see you, Eric. Everybody.
See, Holly doesn't care because the damn Titans aren't in it.
Well, you know what? She seems to be happy enough. She actually said happy Super Bowl.
Well, there you go.
So, and hello, TKS. It's good to see you. Hello. It's good to see everybody in here. And here we got a halftime. Thought I'd stop in. Everybody, thank you for stopping in. If you are going to watch the Super Bowl, then you can watch the Super Bowl. If you want to watch the Super Bowl but listen to us instead of commentary, you're more than welcome to.
And if you can't listen to the show and you want to catch it later, you can always go to WTFNationRadio.com and download the podcast. It'll cost you absolutely $0.
That's right. Zero $0.
$0.
And
so
hello,
today's
Raymond.
Super Bowl, of course, if you're watching it, it's the Hard Rock Stadium in Miami Gardens, Florida.
Yeah, no kidding.
And I didn't catch any of anything. I'm sure there was like pregame festivities and all kinds of stuff going over in the Miami area today. So Jennifer Lopez and Shakira are doing halftime right now.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of people just tune into the Super Bowl for the commercials. So this year, a 30-second spot, a 30-second commercial is going to cost you $5.6 million.
Holy cow. Cow.
That's a whole lot of dara.
That's a lot of dara.
For a 30-second spot.
Holly says, let's not bring the Titans into it.
They had the same attitude.
Uh-huh.
So last year it cost $5.3 million for a 30-second spot.
Wow.
So the year before that was $5.2 million, then $5 million, and then $4.5 million, respectively.
Wow.
So it's a lot of dara.
That is a lot of money. That is a lot of money.
The cost of a 30-second spot went up. It surpassed the $1 million mark, I believe, in 1994.
Wow.
So it's advertising. It's advertising, man.
What's up, Raymond? Okay, then. What's up? I did say hello to you.
Don't get butthurt, Raymond. Come on.
Come on. We're all good-natured here. Most of the time. So
I'm wondering if there are any extra precautions at the Super Bowl this year, not just from a terrorism prevention type of standpoint, but this 2019 NCOV virus that's making its world tour known.
I didn't even think about that because I saw the whole getting ready for possible terrorists. I mean, would you believe they have, a 30-mile no-fly, no-boat zone?
Yep. No fly, no boat. They got the Coast Guard out there. They got, even during major sporting events, there's it's a no-fly zone over the stadiums.
That's true.
Used to, back in the day, be able to fly over like Texas Stadium, the ballpark in Arlington during a game, because, customers like to see that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
You pack the customer in the helicopter and go flying over the major, attractions in the Dallas-Fort Worth metro area. You can't do that anymore.
No, you can't.
A non-game day.
Wow. And now, it tells you how much the world has changed. I mean, you brought up a fact before the show. We were kind of talking, and the one thing that I find interesting is that the Kansas City won Super Bowl 4. That's how long it has been since Kansas City has won a Super Bowl.
It's been 50 years since Kansas City has won a Super Bowl. That's amazing.
That is amazing. And I mean, okay, I know everybody has their loves, and Rob, you don't need to go. You don't have to go that far, but yeah, it is what it is. I look at the fact that I like Kansas City because, well, Kansas City has struggled to keep their team over the years. A lot of people don't get this. I'm from the Midwest, excuse me, and you get college ball there. Kansas City's one of the few that has managed to keep a professional team. And it's so hard to keep professional teams in the Midwest, not because people don't care, but because you're talking the crowds. You got farmers. Everybody's spread out. So it's like to come to watch one game, people, it's not like, hey, let's just jump in the car and we'll be there in 30 minutes because it's in town. No, you're talking, it could be 100 miles away to get to the stadium because, you're talking farmers. You're talking small towns.
No. There's a pretty good population center in the Kansas City metro area, covering 2 states. So there are the people are there, and I think what helps is if you have a good team. Kansas City has had an outstanding team this year.
Yeah,
they have a really outstanding team. No drama. They got a quarterback that's like a superstar, and a lot of the players on there they're just good guys. They're easy to like.
Yeah, and
there's no drama going on, so it makes it easier to like a team that's not only good, but there's no soap operas going on.
Exactly, and that I can appreciate. I really can. I truly like the different the fact that Kansas City is about just the team. It's about, hey, they're going to make it. This is cool.
And it's middle of America. That's the middle of America right there.
Exactly. Hold on for a second. I'm going to type something in. There we go.
Everybody let.
Okay. I had to type something in real quick. Sorry about that. Okay. And halftime is still on right now, according to our check-in.
Yeah, it'll probably be going on for a while.
Yes.
Not Super Bowl, man. It's never 15 minutes.
No. Can't remember when they actually kept to those time rules.
Not in recent history, at least.
But anyway, so. Let's get off a little subject here. If you didn't remember last week, Mr. Koz said he was going to go see some animals.
I did. Got to go. I went to. It's a play. What's a play? It's called Sequest, Fort Worth. There's a couple of these around. I don't know if it's a nationwide thing or if it's just a Texas thing, but it's an area that's made from it occupies much about a third of the ground floor of one of the local malls here.
Yeah,
they busted out walls and made this thing. And I say aquarium, and when I say the word aquarium, you're thinking, okay, it had fish in it. Well, not only does it have fish, it has sloths and otters and caiman. It has alligators and, of course, fish and all these exotic, weird animals that I've never even heard of. I got to hang out with a capybara, which is like a big guinea pig.
Okay.
It's like a guinea pig that it's like a 120-pound guinea pig. It's pretty massive. It's about the size of a large dog. But they're just the most chill animals ever. And they like love everything, and they're just really cool. I got to hang out with a 36-year-old tortoise, an African tortoise. I got to feed a sloth. I wanted to hold the sloth until I saw that its bottom half was covered in poo. So I didn't. Even if I was able to, I would not have. just because it was just nasty. But I did get to, it was kind of down by my level. It wasn't hanging upside down like they usually are.
Yeah.
It was down at my level because it just got done going number 2. And probably a little number 1. Fun fact on the sloths, they hang out in the canopy for most of their lives, and they come down about once a week or once every 10 days to go to the bathroom.
See, and I didn't know that when you told me, and I just sit there going, oh.
And apparently Friday when I went to go see this young sloth named Flash, that was his day to go to the bathroom. So I got to hang out with Flash, and it was just me and the handler. So I got to feed him some green beans. He was eating green beans and really likes apples. So that was kind of neat. He's got you kind of hold the food out there, and he grabs a hold of your hand with he was a two-toed sloth, or he still is a two-toed sloth. He grabs your hand with his little sloth claws.
Yeah.
And it right over by his mouth, and they've got a pretty decent set of chompers in there. They don't have teeth like in the front. They kind of start from where the canines are, and they go back. They're herbivores. So he just kind of guides your hand to their mouth, nice and slow, like, and he munches on the whatever you're feeding him. He was really cool. That was really neat. I also got another one-on-one experience or an encounter with an otter. And it was really interesting for me because I was the only one in that time slot. So it was like everything that a group of probably about 6 or 12 people that would be participating in this. It was just me. It was me and the vet that was in charge of training these otters. And by, say, training, these otters are extremely, extremely smart, and they are they're kind of like dogs. They're like puppies. She's squeaking the little her little whistle, and the otter is doing certain things, and then I was in charge of the fish. So when I got there, she handed me a knife and a bucket of fish, and she goes, "Here, cut this up. This is for the otter that we're going to be interacting with today." I said, "Okay." So I'm cutting up all this fish and shrimp and things. And I got to reward the otter for doing well. And I'd take a chunk of fish, and she goes, "Yeah, throw it in this pool over there." So I'd throw it across the room, and it would land in the water. And then that otter would just go taking off and dive in the water and eat his fish. And they like to play with rocks and shells and stuff, kind of like juggling them.
Yeah.
So you give them a handful of rocks and shells, and they just kind of against their chest, they bubble them up, and they just play.
That sounds like fun.
It was a whole lot of fun. I really wouldn't mind doing it again because it's just neat. But in the rest of it, I mean, there's all kinds of other animals that you can hang out with. There's a macaw there. There's a toucan that wasn't on display at the time. He was in the back. There was a baby otter that was 5 months old, and his name is Nelson. He's not out in public yet. So I got to see Nelson, the little baby otter, which was really cool. I love animals, man. It was just really cool. I went to where the big aquarium is, and I got to hand feed some stingrays. That was just neat, man. I got to pet them, and these things are probably as big as, I don't know, maybe 5 feet across. How you doing, Bailey? Thanks for joining us.
And Bailey, Bailey brought up an interesting point. Halftime show it's half in English and half in Spanish.
English, like the music, like is J-Lo doing the Spanish, and then Shakira's doing the. She's singing Portuguese. She's from Brazil.
I don't know. It's just been brought to my attention both by Holly and by Ship.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. So.
A little bit of Super Bowl differences. I mean, I don't remember. I haven't seen a Super Bowl in probably 2 or 3 years because I kind of fell off the football bandwagon.
So have I. I I'll cheer for a team if I really like them, but my heart isn't out. My heart isn't quite in it.
Yeah, he says they're bouncing from Spanish to English and back to Spanish again, which kind of makes sense. I mean, they're in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's not. I don't think it would be Miami residents actually going to these games because the tickets are horribly expensive. Expensive. So it's all corporate ticket purchases, and folks with money are spending money. The commissioner of the NFL said that they expected to clear at least $1 billion.
Jeez.
$1 billion in revenue from this one game.
That's a lot of money. That is a lot of money. I can remember when they were I remember back when.
Well, you probably remember back 50 years ago when the Kansas City Chiefs, or when the Chiefs were in the Super Bowl then.
I wasn't following Super Bowl quite yet. I wasn't following football, I should say, quite yet. And believe it or not, professional football was not as popular back then.
It was not. That's absolutely true.
It took, I'm trying to think here. I think it took until the 70s, mid-70s, before it started really becoming popular. They had people like Joe Namath and a couple others that, kind of made things look good. And it enticed people to watch. But people back then were still into more into the college stuff because, these guys are playing for out of heart, not out of for money type thing.
That's true. I did watch I'm not sure if it was a documentary, if it was just a spot on a program, but they were talking about football players way back in the 50s and 60s.
Oh, yeah.
In the 60s, were just playing just for the love of the game.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, they really didn't make a lot of money back then. The money really didn't start rolling, I think, until mid 80s, and then you started seeing the big contracts. And up until then, it was you heard about a $500,000 contract. That's a lot of money. Now it's like that's a game.
And 1994 was the first year that Super Bowl advertising per 30-second slot went above $1 million.
Yeah, I mean that's just it. It really.
There wasn't a really big jump. I mean, in 1983, I'm looking at the list right now. $368,000 for a second spot.
Yeah, and
their viewership, 77 million. 77 million for that Super Bowl. Let me see, in 1981. Let me do my Roman numerals. Super Bowl 16 had ad spots for $324,000, and they had 85,240,000 people watching. And it's gone up. It has gone up.
Yes.
And the last stat I have is 2017, and that had a 30-second spot was $5,200,000, and there was only 103,400,000 viewers. But before that, I mean, in 2015, there was 114 million. And it kind of wavers. It went into the hundreds of millions in 2009, or for Roman numerals again. 110. Okay. In 2009. So that's probably 40, 50 something. I don't know. 106,000. But before that, it was 98. 106 million. Before that, the year before that was 98 million. So it's kind of ticking up. It started ticking up around 2008 to where we are now.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the stats for last year, or of course we don't have the stats for this year.
No.
The highest was 2015 with 114,442,000.
Wow.
That's a lot of people, man.
Yeah, it is. And I always say sports, like professional sports and things like that, things that are entertainment tend to get more popular during times when the economy is not as good, because people want to watch things versus...
They want that escape?
Yeah, they want that escape. Holly said right now there's kids singing, and on a scale of 1 to 10, she gives it a 7.
That's not bad. I mean, as long as it's entertaining, that's cool. I mean, people watch the Super Bowl for different reasons. There's the sports people that enjoy the competition and just love football.
Mm-hmm.
There's other people like my mom. Right now, and I talked to her right before we went on the air.
Yeah.
Because I talk to my parents every week.
Of course.
Because I'm an awesome son.
Of course you are.
My mom says that she is rooting for the San Francisco 49ers because the quarterback is cute.
I love it.
There's sports analysis from Koz's mom. Niners are going to win because the quarterback is cute.
You know, I can look back and think about my grandmother used to listen to baseball and watch football only when it was Seattle, because she was Seattle. This is back when Seattle did, Seattle Mariners and Seattle Seahawks did horribly, okay? But she always rooted for them. She was a diehard. She would sit there with the radio and listen every time a game was going. And I always had to laugh. She listened to it because her husband, who died in the mid-70s, loved the sport and she used to sit there and listen with him and hold his hand. He had black lung disease, and he would go out and listen to the sports in the hammock. If it was nice out, if it wasn't, he'd sit by the fireplace and listen to the sports. And that's one of the few times he'd be able to calm down and just enjoy without coughing or anything.
I remember growing up, I never really caught the hockey bug, but my uncle was a professional radio announcer for Cleveland. So there was all kinds of pictures of him, in the booth, and he would do all the sports broadcasting. That's back in the black and white days. But I never caught the hockey bug. I did like football. When the football games were on, we'd always be watching them. Halftime kicked off, and me and my brothers and the neighborhood kids would all, because we didn't have fences in our yard.
Yeah.
So we would play, a game, just a pickup game of football for about 15 or 20 minutes, and then go back in and watch the rest of the Super Bowl.
See, with me,
I really liked watching football because, you're there with your brothers and whatever, and then, dad's there and mom's slinging food all over the place, and, Uncle Ray and grandpa are there, and everybody, it was a good family and friends, just getting together at someone's house and watching the football game. See,
when I was a kid, that's when Nebraska was in its golden years of football. You're talking, taking championships and all, at least in the top 10 all the time, it seemed like. And professional sports weren't that popular really when I was a kid. And you would see households get together. My dad and a couple of his friends would get together, and they'd have the kids and the wives and all of us. They'd be in watching the sports. The wives would be bringing in the food, and the kids would be somewhere trying to keep out of the parents' way so they don't kill you.
Hey, you know what I'm wondering?
What?
Okay, I was in the Army from 88 to 96.
Mm-hmm.
Never once do I remember ever having a late call to work with no PT. Just show up at your place of duty at a certain time. I saw a post from the main page today saying that what choices do you have? Are you going to be having PT, or are you going to be having a work call at 8 o'clock or whatever?
Yeah.
I never had the privilege of having a late call to work when I was in the military.
Oh, I did. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because I lived in the barracks, and I worked on a psychiatric ward.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, if we got patients that needed extra care,
Okay.
they'd go to the barracks first, and they'd start knocking on doors to the psych techs, and there were only a few of us. And if we answered the door, they're like, "Need you." And
Here's
you
a
had to go
little bit of trivia for you. 1.3 billion on average chicken wings Americans eat during each Super Bowl Sundays over the past 5 years. 1.3 billion.
That is wow. That's a lot.
That means there are 2.6. Dude, that's
Yeah.
I'm trying to math here. That's a lot of damn chicken wings.
That
I
is
go to
a lot of
Buffalo
damn
Wild
chicken
wings. I'm
wings.
good for like a 9-piece boneless. I don't like to eat chicken wings with my hands. Get all that schmutz underneath your fingernails and stuff. That's incredible.
Oh, Linda, hello. She says she has her best memories with her dad, unless the Cowboys were playing. That's her team. So,
Yeah, I like the Cowboys. I don't know. I've always been a Cowboys fan. When I lived in Wisconsin, I did like the Green Bay Packers, but I've always had a spot for the Dallas Cowboys in my heart. Now I live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, so it's really easy.
yeah.
However, we are surrounded by a lot of 49ers fans, a lot of Seattle fans down here, and a lot of Philadelphia Eagles fans. If you go to a Dallas Cowboys game, half of that stadium, and I'm not joking, half of that stadium is the other team.
Uh-huh.
Especially more so if it is a Seattle, San Francisco, or a Philadelphia game. And I'd also like to say the Bills too.
I'm looking. I guess I'm getting corrected. Linda's saying no. She loves the Saints. Oh my! we got all sorts of talk going in on here. Rob's trying to
I don't like. It's one of those things. I don't like them because they're damn good. They're not a damn good football team. They're a decent football team. They used to be a great football team. All teams kind of go in waves between good and not good. But I've always been attracted to the Dallas Cowboys. I couldn't tell you why.
Okay, I'm getting a rating here. Pookie just came in and said that halftime show, and it looks like he's kind of like, ooh my. So we're getting signals here.
Like, oh my, it's good, or oh my, it's bad?
Oh my, as in, let me see one comment that came in. Let's see. The outfits the ladies wearing will give an old man a heart attack.
I guess that's a good oh my then. If you're going to rate a heart attack being a good thing, that's
that means there was something there,
right? Or nothing there, depending on your perspective.
Now, for those of you that don't know, Mr. Koz is a Breaking Bad fan now.
Over the Christmas holidays, I got addicted to the Breaking Bad.
Yeah, that's right.
Bitch! You were waiting. I knew you were waiting.
Son of a bitch.
I suggest you stop whining like a little bitch and do what I say.
So I like the character Jesse Pinkman, which is Aaron Paul.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as that was over, I'm like, okay, what has this guy done? The guy hasn't done a lot.
Huh.
I saw he was recruited, I guess, or hired to play the part of Jesse Pinkman. He really had no experience as far as acting. He's just like, I just have to pretend to be somebody else. No problem. They gave him a script and he read it, and they liked him. He's an excellent actor, man. But yeah, I ended up finding a Jesse Pinkman soundboard.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Yeah, I found your soundboard right here.
You're so proud of yourself.
Yeah, science.
Okay, I'm done.
Okay, there we go. Well, I cruise Netflix, and I probably
What up, biatch?
I'll be a little embarrassed about the stuff that I watch. Let me see. I do watch Stranger Things when I'm waiting for the new season. Believe it or not, I watched Sabrina.
My younger daughter got me into Stranger Things season 1, and then I watched season 1 and 2, and then 3 came out, and I watched it.
Yes.
Haven't seen. Is that the Sabrina Teenage Witch with the talking cat?
That is Sabrina Teenage Witch, a new spin on it. No, it's it's a Netflix series. It's
Okay, I've seen that advertised. I haven't watched any of it.
yeah, it's
I watched. I don't even know how to say this right. Ragnarok.
Ragnarok.
Ragnarok. It just came out.
Okay.
It just came out. It's a Norwegian production, and it was actually pretty good.
Oh boy, we're seeing someone grade an ad. Apparently, Bloomberg has not made good waves here.
I heard that he put a bunch of millions of dollars into making a spot, and some people had previewed it and said that it was completely screwed up.
Yes. It says it's so anti-American, so anti-gun, so racist. Pookie, my wife is watching The Witcher.
I haven't watched The Witcher, and I got turned off by that stupid song.
It's according to my wife, and I've watched a little bit of it. It's kind of like what am I thinking? Kind of like Game of Thrones, except for it's a little quick. It moves quicker. To me, Game of Thrones was kind of slow.
Okay.
This moves quicker, and so it's not too bad. Yeah, the Casey says it's dark, meaning The Witcher, and it's like supernatural, but with Sabrina. Oh, okay. Yeah, Casey's talking about Sabrina. Sabrina is actually very different. I try to stay light. Have you seen American Horror Story?
No, I have not.
American Horror Story, each season is different. It has the same characters, but it's different. Although some things bleed into it. What was in season 1 may bleed into season 3.
So there's some connectivity. There's just not a whole lot.
Yeah. And I just got I haven't been able to watch the whole thing because some of it kind of lost me. But I decided, okay, I saw some stuff, and I saw some previews of the last season, which is an apocalyptic one. So I'm like,
Nice.
okay, I like apocalyptic sometimes. So I'm like, okay, I'll watch it, right? And I went ahead and the second or the third season bled into this one. And it was actually pretty good. It had you on the edge of your seat.
Between not episodes so much, but seasons, series. I like to have that continuity.
Yeah.
You don't just throw in a new character at the first episode of a new season because you're like, okay, where's the backstory on this fella?
Oh no, like the first season is about this house, how it's haunted, but they don't tell you right away. You slowly figure it out, and the characters are actually ghosts, some of them, and some of them aren't. The second one is about a psychiatric unit. But it has a lot of the same characters in it. Same actors, not the same characters. And you're just sitting there going, hold it, you played this. But it kind of bleeds forward to wrap up some other stuff in some of the other seasons. Again, they just slowly are mingling it to where it's okay. I get this now. She really was this, and that's why she thinks she's this saintly. At first, she was acting sort of, excuse my language, whorish, but now all of a sudden she's saintly, and then she went back to being whorish again. Cool. I mean,
people change, right?
Right. I mean, it's funny. So it is different. We're getting 15 billion average Americans spent on food for Super Bowl Sundays. Wow.
Yeah, I ended up doing some grocery shopping last night. I was like, okay, I'm going to let everybody do their grocery shopping during the day. So I went grocery shopping last night around 8 p.m. And I walked into my Walmart neighborhood store, and that place was slammed.
Oh, I don't doubt it.
Every checker, there was a person at every checker, and then of course, the self-serve check lanes were open as well.
Wow.
And these people were restocking shelves, and people were emptying shelves, and there were still people just just grabbing food and stuff for today's game. I believe it, man. I think, I don't know. Do you think maybe the spending for Super Bowl Sunday surpasses or is close to Christmas, or Thanksgiving?
You know, that'd be a good something good to check out at some point, because I think actually I think it surpasses the way people go at things. It wouldn't surprise me if it surpasses.
Right.
According to our front desk, a lot of the commercials seem to have the same theme going. That's not good.
The commercial
yes.
theme?
Yes.
I type loudly.
Someone tried to carbon shame the United States for our consumption of chicken wings.
How dare you?
Or
how did she say? I got to do my Greta Thunberg. How dare you? That's my Greta impersonation.
I can't. This is something we don't talk politics here, and as much as possible, we try not to. I don't believe that you should try to shame people, because if anything, you're going to piss them off even more, and they're going to dig in even more. Or
you're going to file that into the don't care bucket.
Exactly. There were people.
If they want to spend $5.6 million for a 30-second spot, fine, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
A political statement, or you want to make an environmental statement, or whatever. You do you. I've got the channel changer here if it's too annoying. And that's how we vote. I mean, as consumers here in the United States, is you don't like something, you don't get upset about it. You just turn the channel.
Exactly. And I think that the unfortunate part is, like we have said before, this election is probably going to be a very supercharged one. Now, did you hear about the rule this week that the DNC, the Democratic National Convention, changed specifically to bring in Bloomberg? Yeah,
they changed the rules so he can buy his way in, because he doesn't have, with all the debates, he hasn't. There's a lot of, and Ben Shapiro actually did a really good breakdown of the rules. I think it was Ben Shapiro who did a breakdown of the rules in order to be invited to a debate. And you have to poll between 5 and 7% or higher.
And you have to make a certain amount of money.
In all of these different demographics.
Yes.
So and just for them to say, we're going to bring Bloomberg in here. I mean, as soon as he opens up his mouth, he usually inserts his foot. He's really not that savvy of a guy. He's not a politician, and he doesn't have great ideas. I mean, he's the guy that banned fucking 32-ounce drinks in New York. Come on, really?
Yeah, and here's the thing that has been brought up. Right now, Bernie's in ahead of the polls.
Yeah, Bernie's kind of surged in the last couple of weeks.
They're scared of him, and it's basically because the one they were counting on, good old Joe, is as much as they're trying to downplay his role in Ukraine, it's sticking. And so
it doesn't help his argument at all when he's a gaff man. I mean, he says stupid stuff. He does stupid things.
Exactly. And so you've got the Joe's. They said it isn't that Joe's losing ground; it's that Bernie is gaining ground. And they said at this point, if Bernie starts winning, they need someone who can possibly beat Sanders, although they don't even know if Bloomberg can. And they said the next thing that will happen, and it's already starting to look like it may come into play. I don't know all about the delegate thing and during their convention, but normally they're saying that there's a possibility of a contested convention in which there's more than one possible candidate, but the highest number from primary gets it. But they're saying that if it's a contested convention, the first round, they can go to the super delegates in the second round. What they're wanting to actually do now is there's talk about bringing those super delegates into the first round so that it doesn't go into a second convention and make the Democratic Party look bad.
I think the DNC is going to do whatever they can do to not have Sanders be the nominee.
Yeah, exactly, because they know Sanders, okay, as much as there are a bunch of little kids running around going, socialism, socialism, okay, those kids haven't grown up yet, okay? But that's just it. It's kids and it's people who otherwise can't make it or who are power hungry. Those are the people who want socialism, because socialism doesn't work simply because all it takes is one corrupt person. So then the turnaround is people who would normally vote for a Democrat would then turn over and vote for Trump or not show up at all. And the worry is that the party will go from being Democratic Party to a socialist party. At that point, the Democratic Party loses its weight and another party has to be formed. Although there's no such thing as you can only have two parties, it's been that way for a long time.
Is there anybody on the radar as an independent candidate yet?
What?
Is there anybody on the radar who is an independent candidate?
No, not that's on the radar.
So what I'm wondering is if I'm not really sure of the rules as far as the election goes, but I wonder if Bernie Sanders doesn't get if he doesn't get the nod from the DNC, if he would be he just like, fine, I'm going to stay on the ballot. I'm just going to run as an independent.
He can't.
And he can't do that?
No, it's too late. You have to register for being on ballots.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that time has passed.
It's different in every single state.
It is.
It's way different in every single state.
It's way different in every single state, and you have to come up with money, and you have to have there's all this criteria, and unfortunately,
I know it's not too late for people to declare their candidacy either, and I'm thinking about Hillary Clinton, possibly Mrs. Obama.
Well, here
she said, over and over and over and over again that she has no desire to run.
Well, here's what everybody. This is how crazy it's getting. Okay, Bloomberg has made no. They're hoping Joe won't lose. Everybody's putting their money on Joe at this point. Bloomberg is starting to spike a little bit in the polls. they're waiting to see who pulls out in about, I think, next month. They're supposed to, or no, was it they call it Super Tuesday? They want to see who pulls out. If Bernie pulls out and Biden can't catch him at that point, they're saying that it looks like Biden has one choice of announcing who he'd do VP, and he's talking Michelle Obama. Wow. And Bloomberg at that point would be kind of null and void if Sanders still keeps in front. At that point, it becomes a two-person race, but it's still, there's a good chance it will stay contested because there'll be no one decisive candidate.
And then you're going to have a mess at the polls because because they're the nominee, that doesn't mean they can't be write-ins. And some states will allow a write-in candidate.
And that's that's just it. Is there's a lot of back and forth, and the whole impeachment thing, thank goodness, is going to come to an end Wednesday. And they're saying that this
it's not ending, dude.
What?
The impeachment may end Wednesday, but the temper tantrum, it may subside until after the election, and then
it'll start up as soon as they're done.
My mom and dad, we had this conversation today. They're like, "What do you think about this impeachment thing?" I think it'll be over this week, but it's still not going to be. I mean, there's going to be people losing their minds because President Trump will get acquitted.
Yeah.
Because that the word on the street is he's going to get acquitted.
Yep.
But then you come into the re-election time frame, and then all of the political commercials that are just going to be just horribly nasty. I think.
Oh yes.
I think President Trump will have just a regular, America First type of commercials, and the left is just going to go, he's the devil. Don't vote for the devil.
Well, but that will only work if they have a candidate that
they got to do something.
Exactly.
I mean, great. If you're a Democrat, that's fine, but they're gonna have to coalesce support around a candidate, and I think it's going to be either Sanders or Biden.
I agree with you. I think at this point, Bloomberg was a bad idea, and they thought it was a good idea because they thought, he'll take, he can do better than Joe.
I think if they wanted Bloomberg in there, he should have declared earlier.
Bloomberg did it on his own. He didn't wait for a nod. He actually did it on his own. He actually pissed a lot of people off by doing it.
Because he can. I mean, the dude's made of money. He's got lots and lots of money.
Oh, yeah. He hasn't spent a dime. That's the whole reason the DNC gave in is because it's a two-part system to get in debate. One, you have to be at a certain point in the polls. And the other part is you have to have a certain amount of support, grassroots, money-wise. And since he's paying for his own stuff, he hasn't put an emphasis on taking money.
Right.
That's why they went ahead and changed the rules.
And then you get other candidates like Tulsi Gabbard, just for an example. She's doing her stuff the old-fashioned way.
Oh yes.
She's on the ground. She's out there talking to people, and I don't necessarily, I don't like her. I don't support her platform or anything. But she's like one of the only candidates that is doing it the right way.
I agree.
Going and shaking babies and kissing hands. No, shaking hands and kissing babies. And she's traveling. She's doing things on the ground level, talking to people, and she's not taking corporate donations or anything like that. And she's suffering because of that, because she doesn't have the money to actually be a competitor.
Yeah, and I mean, I've actually heard her talk. If I were to pick someone out of the Democratic Party, I'd pick her because she's not a socialist. She is a moderate, and she actually believes in trying to work with people versus the my way or the highway type thing. Ari, what you're talking about, yes and no. Okay, the GOP, what they have actually said is Trump did some things that weren't necessarily ethical, but he didn't do anything impeachable, and there's a big difference. It's like they don't like his tweets. In other words, he did things kind of rough, not all hoity-toity.
Science.
He was very. I mean, come on. One of the biggest complaints everybody had about him when he first came out was they hated his tweets. Why? Because he told it like it was.
Miserable son of a bitch.
But the difference is, I mean, he's not refined. That's the big thing. He is not refined. That's why they don't like him. He's also not for the establishment. He's actually against the establishment, something that really pisses everybody off. The establishment is starting to feel his presidency. People are starting to get indicted. People are starting to be told that they're going to come up on charges. It's finally coming around. Focus is finally starting to pull away from the Mueller report and all that crap. And investigations are finally starting to happen into all the things that have gone on.
Why don't you just go break the door down just to whip those bitches and show them who's boss?
That's what I do.
So, Ari, I get where you're coming from. There's a lot of stuff that's gone on. And do I think Trump may have thought about doing a whatever, okay? Do I think he thought about it? Hell yeah, I think he thought about it. Do I think he thought about wanting to slam Schiff's head into the wall? Yeah, I'm sure he thought about it. The difference is, did he do it? And that's what this is all about. Did he actually do it? I mean, if we're going to start doing thought police, we might as well be a communist country, because that's what communism is all about, being thought police. You cannot even think. You cannot utter a word of despair without worrying that your own husband, wife, or significant other or kid is going to tell someone and get you thrown in jail. That's how bad it can get. Yeah, quid pro quo. Thank you very much, Casey.
Quo, 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 quo. Quo, quo.
So, politics, it's in shambles. I think truthfully, we need term limits hardcore. I think we need to push everybody out at the moment and start over. And I think we need to teach people how to look at people's records, because that's the other thing that has come up, is that a lot of people lied when it came time to get elected, and they sat there and said, oh, but don't look at my record. My record doesn't speak how I am anymore. And then they turned around and they did exactly what their record showed they were going to do. You are who you are. And unfortunately, that's the downside to people not thinking when they vote. They're like, oh, but I believe them. Well, you believe the wrong person. Now it's time to clean it up, and we're going to have that chance in November. We need to clean it up.
So we are at the 2 minutes left in the third quarter, and San Francisco is ahead 20-10.
All right. Well,
it's because of that, according to my mom, the cute quarterback. That's why San Francisco is going to win, is because they have a cute quarterback.
Go Koz's mom. I love it. Well, Mr. Koz, it is at the top of the hour. Are you going to go get some food and such, or are you going to stick around?
You get some food and take a shower.
Okay. So while Koz goes and gets some food, showers, walks the dog, and then gets some sleep. We're going to take a small break. When we come back, we will be talking some fun stories.
Hey, are you talking about the coronavirus at all?
Not really.
Let me touch on that before I blast off here.
Okay, go ahead.
I do have these notes. I just wanted to get to them when we've just kind of been shooting the breeze. It's been a great show. This hour always goes by really, really quick. So please bear with me. 4 U.S. bases here in the United States in Colorado, California, and Texas were selected yesterday to house up to 1,000 Americans expected to be placed under quarantine upon arrival from China, where they will be examined for up to a month for signs of the coronavirus, otherwise known as 2019 nCoV.
Yes.
Mark Esper, who is the defense secretary, approved a request from Health and Human Service officials Saturday, designated each facility to house up to 250 Americans in individual rooms until February 29th. This is a leap year, so we have that extra day in February.
Yes.
As a precaution to prevent the spread of the novel respiratory illness. The bases selected were Travis Air Force Base in Solano County, California,
Okay.
Marine Corps Air Station Miramar in San Diego, Lackland Air Force Base in San Antonio, and the 168th Regiment Regional Training Institute at Fort Carson, Colorado.
Okay. That's interesting.
Health and Human Services will be responsible for providing transportation and caring for those housed on the bases, the Pentagon said in a statement. The Defense Department is only responsible for providing lodging. Joint Base San Antonio said in a Facebook update that was the case. Military personnel will not have any interaction directly with those evacuated from China, the Los Angeles Times reported. So coming to a
base near you.
To a base near you.
Oh, jeez.
I just wanted to get that out there.
So you guys have something to look forward to in those bases. Fun. At least they're not going to pull you in and possibly expose you. I think that was a good call.
Try not to lick your friends and wash your hands. Drink water and take Motrin and change your socks.
No licking friends.
No licking friends.
All right. All right, Koz, why don't you go ahead and have some dinner, and I will see the rest of you in approximately 10 minutes.
All right. Have a good rest of the show, man.
All right. Shots.
Before coffee on a Tuesday, it's already been a bad week. My girls had a couple flats, and my dishwasher sprung a leak. From the kitchen, her complaining, you know it just ain't cute anymore. I get the itch and start to drifting towards the great outdoors. I smell the honeysuckle blooms, I can see the red buds too. In my garage, I got rods up on the wall. I got a John boat in the yard under a faded camo tarp. I need a reset to my spot. I hear the call. I just gone fishing. Let her know that I ain't gone. Junk mail don't come out there. My phone won't ring. The only thing I want to hear is my reel with a big one on a string. That large mouth don't talk at all, and my weight just sinks away. Set him free, bring him home. The one decision I gotta make. I smell the honeysuckle blooms, I can see the red buds too. In my garage, I got rods up on the wall. I got a John boat in the yard under a faded camo tarp. I need a reset to my spot. I hear the call. honeysuckle blooms. I can see the red buds too. I got the rods in my garage down all through my John Cody the truck, filled my Camel cooler up. I hit the reset, hit my spot and heated that car. I just gone fishing, let her know that I ain't gone. No, I ain't gone missing, I've just gone fishing, let her know that I ain't gone.
Nation Radio.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.
Thank you. Thank you for saying something. Man, I've been going on for 22 minutes. Or no, 12 minutes. I apologize. Now I know why things happen. Okay. Your mic. Okay, we're going to try this again. I was talking about emotional. A person actually tried to register beer as an emotional support beer. That's funny. I apologize, guys. None of my... okay. I feel silly. That was my fault. I actually put on mute and I forgot to unmute myself. Thank you for catching me. Anyway, I was talking about emotional support beer. A guy actually tried to register his beer as an emotional support so he could take it with him because when he's driving or when he's on a bus, he wants to be able to drink beer because he has a problems with people around him. Yes, Ari, I caught that. I was for 12 minutes talking to myself. Okay. So, my problem is, and yes, Holly, thank you for catching me. My problem is, I do agree that there should be emotional support animals. I really do. I think we need to, and this may sound silly, but the DMV already has placards in place. If you are disabled and your doctor signs off on a form, you get a placard for your disability, for your car. Okay, I think since we already have that system in place, I think that we should just change a form, simply saying emotional support animal, have a doctor sign off on it, and then go through the DMV system only because it's already there, and say, okay, yes, this person, this is approved by a doctor that he gets an emotional support animal, and then he is sent some form of placard or tag to put on the animal that he has to have that shows he's state approved. So therefore, all these people that come in saying, oh, this is my emotional support puppy, you're sitting there going, yeah, you're lying through your teeth. You just didn't want to leave him in the car. Okay? I get tired of that. I really do. It's belittling the system that is in place for people who have true problems, people who have seizures, people who have, yeah, exactly, Pookie. DMV plates for canines. In other words, if you've got, your doctor says, yes, you have the right for an emotional support dog. He signs off on the form, DMV gets it, and they give you some form of little tag or something that can go on the vest or on his dog tag saying he's state registered. And that way, if an animal shows up that doesn't have that, then they can sit there and say, yo, that's not state registered. No. Because to me, there are a lot of people who try to scam the system. Okay? I've actually had people catch me without my cane, and they're like, you are disabled, you shouldn't have a placard. It's like, no, I'm having a decent day today. But without having my car closer, I would have had to have used my cane. Or, that most of the time, though, I do use my cane. And to sit, I really don't like the fact that people use these things. Going to have to register your dog for an afternoon walk. I'm talking about... because placards last for so many years. You can get temporary placards and you can get long-term placards. Jacques, I have the ability to stream wherever I decide I want a picture to show up, just like that. That's called broadcasting, my friend. I can show you, let's see, the beach in Kauai. I can show you, ooh, I didn't set that one up. I got to go back and set that one up. I can show you Waimea Canyon. Pretty good, huh? Yeah, and I get that, Pookie. The government does take it too far, but at some point we need to have accountability in this, and I truly get irritated. If I had a picture, I could, Jock, and I don't have a picture. I have pictures of where I have been. These are things where I have been. That's my way of encouraging people to get out, to go camping, to go do things. So no. I think, I truly believe that animals, I think, should be registered just like people, and placards, disabilities. Because, I'm sorry, I've seen animals come in that weren't taken care of very well, and it's like, and I mean, people have brought them into restaurants, and you just want to sit there and go, I have a hard time believing this is your emotional support animal, because most people I know who have emotional support animals take very good care of them, because they truly rely on them and truly appreciate and respect them. And it bothers me when I see people abuse things just because, well, I didn't want to leave my animal or my dog in a car, or he's my buddy and I'm just gonna throw a fit if you don't let me have him. Because that's what it's come to. People throw fits. Oh, but he's my emotional support. They don't have any way of proving that they aren't. And I think at this point, something needs to be intervened. I agree with you, Pookie. The problem with littering is, though, and I'll say this: I don't like the government telling us not to litter, but I also don't like it when people do litter. It sullies up a landscape, and it actually can become fire hazard and a road hazard. I mean, look at the fact that people will throw stuff out there, and that becomes tinder. I don't like the fact that, yeah, the government tells us we can't do it. But at some point, when are you going to tell people you need to think common sense wise? Why shouldn't you throw your garbage out the window? I love you, Pookie. Devil's advocate. People are allowed to take their crotch goblins in a restaurant where most dogs are better behaved. Here we go. Now you're going to get into an area where I will kind of agree but disagree. That falls on the parents, and I'm the type of person where I will, as much as I can, without causing a scene, try to get across to a parent that their children are truly out of control. And that going out should be shown to the child as a privilege, and therefore they should respect it as such. But that's me. That's my generation and my era, okay? When I was raised, even going to McDonald's was a treat, because McDonald's back then was not seen as a fast food restaurant that you just grabbed a burger. You actually took the family there and sat down and had your meal. And people actually still were courteous and kind. And people frowned at other people's kids if they were loud and obnoxious. So that's my generation, and where I came from. I was not exactly in a big city. I was in a small town. So renters are allowed to make you pay a deposit on your dog, but not on a toddler. No, but they are made to pay a security deposit that if that toddler screws up, you will lose your security deposit. Oh, we could go back and forth on this one all day, Pookie. It's not that I disagree with you. It's that I still think animals should be registered, because I think it's one more thing that people can abuse. And when people truly have a problem, they may not be taken as seriously because people abuse that law. Versus if you start doing something to make it so that people don't abuse it, people are taken seriously. Gee, that dog, for that guy to have that tag on that dog, that means that person has a real reason. And I can respect that. That way I know that dog's there for a reason. If the dog starts going bonkers, maybe there's a reason the dog's going bonkers. Maybe that dog is a seizure dog. You just don't know. Pookie, you are relentless, man. And humans, technically animals. Technically, they are registered if you think about it, Pookie. That's what that whole birth certificate thing is about. Oh, boy. I must have stirred a hornet's nest. Now Ari's piping in. That's still how it is now. I live in a middle to upper class area, and people complain about the smallest things. Kids riding their quads, loud music, dogs barking. Whatever they want to bitch about, like they're entitled to privilege. It's not entitlement for me, okay? And that's the difference. I'm not talking emotional support, baby. Only you, Pookie. Only you. I'm talking about going into restaurants where people are eating and may have allergies. I'm talking about bringing in animals, because people don't just do support dogs. They'll sit there and say, I have a support pig. I have a support bird. Okay? It goes too far. And again, where do you draw the line and say, okay, is it real? And I truly have that problem with it. I would like to at least make it so that at some point there has to be some responsibility. Pookie, you're on a roll tonight. Ban kids from Walmart. Children are thick and biological weapons. Yes, I have changed those diapers also. Only you, Pookie. Only you. Oh. No, many things are out there. And again, seizure dogs are important. Emotional dogs are important. Things of that nature I agree with. I have seen those animals in action, and they do good. I have also seen people abuse it. And to me, they're trying to flout their entitlement. They think it's okay to do something just because they want to. And who cares if you bring a dog in that people are allergic to? Who cares if you haven't been taking care of your dog, but you bring them in? And because like I said, most support animals I've seen are well taken care of and well groomed. Okay. It's an opinion, and some people agree with me, some people won't. But I think it kind of goes along the wayside of because I'm disabled and I have a problem walking distances, I have the ability to park closer. I have watched people pull into those spots without placards and get out and walk straight in. Pookie got my emotional support attack rooster. That I could see you getting. And probably getting a doctor to sign off, knowing you. I've actually gone in and confronted people. And I've done it twice at my bank. Because it's a small area. There's only a couple parking spots. And otherwise you have to park way away. And so I park. I actually had someone pull in front of me, get out, was a kid, perfectly healthy, run in to the bank that I go to. So I found a parking spot and I walked in and he's still in line. I walk up to him. I said, I don't see, where's your cane? And he looked at me. I said, where's your cane? Where's your oxygen tank? What's wrong with you? And he said, nothing. I said, then why are you parked in a handicapped parking spot? And he looked at me and he said, well, I was in a hurry. And I just looked at him and I said, well, tell you what. I'm going to give you to the count of 5 and then I'm going to turn on my cell phone. And I'm going to call the police and call in your license plate number and make sure that, and I will actually sign off on it if they say, well, they didn't see it. I will make sure to show up to court so that you get that fine. And he looked at me and huffed off and ran out to his car and moved it. And as soon as he left the room, everybody kind of turned towards me and I said, I don't accept people doing things like that. I think it's rude. And people just smiled and said, you're right. But I wasn't the only one that saw this person do it. Nobody else had the balls to do it. Then another time when I went to the bank, oh God. Lady walked up with her son. She got out and her son got out, and they parked in it. Pookie, I have no doubt you would have fun. I have no doubt. They both got out and went into the bank. And I went and I parked away from it because, again, they took the spot. And I walked in, and I walked up to the lake. I made sure I looked for a placard. I made sure it wasn't just they didn't hang it up or anything. And I looked at their tags, nothing. And I watched them. They had walked perfectly fine. So I walk in, and I walked up to the lady. I said, ma'am, are you disabled? And she said, no. What about it? I said, ma'am, I said, I have a problem with you because the way you just answer me tells me you don't care. And I said, the other part is you're teaching your son this. I said, so I'm going to teach you something. I actually pulled out my phone. I said, okay, you have until I can dial 911 to get your butt out the door with your son and park somewhere else. And I started dialing, and she went, entitlement. And she walked out. Everybody looked at her. And when I got to the front of the line and actually got to the teller, she said, "You know, that lady does that all the time. You're the first person to stand up to her." Okay, the score right now is it's 2017. Kansas is in the lead? Oh, San Francisco. Excuse me. San Francisco is in the lead, but it's 2017 for those of you that are watching. Kansas has the ball. Cool. Okay. So anyway, no, that's I don't believe, and this kind of I guess goes back to where I believe with emotional support animals. It's not an entitlement. It is a privilege bestowed upon you because you have a problem that is recognized for medical reasons or emotional reasons that need that animal with you. And to me, that trumps it all. And I'm the same way when it comes to disabilities and placards. I hope I haven't lectured too much. I that one story, it kind of hit home for me, and it just bothered me. It really did. Anyway, here's a story, a funny story, sad story, but funny, I guess. People don't poop in a sacred temple at Machu Picchu. 6 tourists, get this. Oh, please don't poop in a sacred table. Sacred, excuse me. 6 tourists were arrested after authorities found feces inside the UNESCO World Heritage Site's Temple of the Sun. Now, can you believe someone? Now, okay, from what I've heard, they don't have any place to go to the bathroom up there. So, like, you know, maybe they should put a porta potty or something. I don't know. I've never been there. Here's the scenario for you. You've made the long, difficult journey to Machu Picchu, taken a variety of planes and trains and buses to get there, and now finally you're inside the grounds. You begin to explore the more than 500-year-old site, marveling at its ancient towering rock spires, its surreal terraces and ramps. Life is sweet. The world is bountiful and mysterious. Your day couldn't get any better, but at some point you hit with a terrible, inescapable feeling. You have to poop. You got 2 options. Either so they don't have a bathroom. Either hike down to the entrance and find a bathroom, putting an end to your time there, or sneak into a sacred temple constructed half a millennia ago, drop trowel, and debase one of the greatest marvels in the world has to offer. What do you do? I don't know. I guess that's a hard call because, like you said, there is the thing of Machu Picchu's, or no, of what is that? Montezuma's revenge, right? But at the same time, that is kind of disrespectful. I mean, yeah, I just can't imagine doing that. But these guys got caught. If you choose shit into the poop into the hallowed grounds of an Incan worshiping room, congratulations. There's something deeply and irredeemably wrong with you. For some inexplicable reason, that's exactly what a group of tourists allegedly did over the weekend. France 24 reports 6 people in their 20s and early 30s were arrested on Sunday after Peruvian authorities caught them in a restricted area of Machu Picchu's Temple of the Sun, a revered part of the UNESCO World Heritage Site. park rangers and police found feces inside of the temple, which had also been damaged after a piece of stone had broken off a wall and caused a crack in the floor. Wow. 6 tourists are being detained and investigated by the public ministry for the alleged crime against cultural heritage. Yeah, I mean, we can agree this is just wrong. I mean, okay, we're all military. We've all had to dig a trench and poop. Okay, it's part of our training. That's part of what we are taught. You deal with your circumstances. But they knew where a bathroom was. They just chose not to use it. It's kind of like in San Francisco. They talk about now having the app that shows you where all the poop is, and I can't imagine doing this at a site that beautiful, that old. You're debasing it. You really are. I have a problem with people dropping trout in public. It's one thing when you're in the military and, well, if you're caught up in doing something and you have to go and, well, the nearest restroom isn't, you do what you got to do. That's what you've been taught. But to actually tell people, to actually go to this place. I mean, what do you say? I went to Machu Picchu and look at what I do to do a selfie of pooping. I mean, come on. How is this okay? It isn't. They go even further. Here's a helpful rule. If you ever struck by the urge to do anything remotely untoward at one of a kind historical site, like boning on top of an ancient pyramid, taking a butt selfie in front of a Buddhist temple, just don't. You'll thank yourself later when you're spending the evening guilt-free in some plush hotel instead of languishing in a jail cell in a foreign country, racked by the unbelievable shame of having taken a literal dump on history. Pookie, you're right. You haven't lived till you've had to do such things. Exactly, Daniel. It ruins things. Daniel brought up the point. Sounds like Rome in the 80s when I was there. The Colosseum smelled like an open sewer. That's the problem, is people... That's the problem with losing values and losing respect. When you lose your values and you lose respect, you start doing things that show that you really don't care about anything other than yourself. And Pookie and I tease each other. I really do love Pookie to death. He's a great person. Pookie, as funny as he is, and as quirky as he is not disrespectful. He will challenge you. He will play devil's advocate. Yeah, exactly. Loss of civility. But he doesn't do that. People that do that do it because they lose their civility. They lose their human side. And nobody reminds them or talks to them about it. Nobody says, hey, that ain't cool. And they'll come back with, they'll start swearing up a storm at you and telling you off. And people don't have a recourse anymore. They can't sit there and say, I'm going to call the cops and they're going to ticket you. Or they're going to arrest you for this. Because it used to be considered public indecency. but it's not anymore. I think that's the sad part about this story, is people thought it was okay to do this at a beautiful temple. It really did kind of catch me off guard with it. And I just sat there and thought to myself, San Francisco, everybody talks about that. Everybody talks about people pooping in San Francisco. And then this happens. It's like, what's so different? Really nothing? But it's the fact that they got caught, and they got caught at a revered place in a country that still hasn't gone the way of San Francisco. Exactly, Pookie. Everybody's me. Everybody wants to be the center of attention. They think they're the center of the universe. Okay, I'm going to say this. You guys see me broadcast. You hear Koz broadcast. Neither of us ever think we're all that in a bag of chips. I still get the jitters before I come on. I actually have to do breathing exercises to calm myself down. I'm not this person who sits there and says, "Oh, this is my show," or this is my show. No. We come here for you guys, because you guys seem to like us. Why in the world you like us, I have no idea. But you do. And we appreciate that. We never think anything other than we appreciate. I'm very humbled by the thought that someone wants to listen to me talk about poop at Monte Picchu. I really am very humbled by it. I hope I can bring smiles to you. I hope that I can talk about anything but, more and more now that we're starting to fill up our lineup again, and there's some more changes coming. I'm hoping another one's coming this week. More and more, we will not be talking about the news media. More and more, we won't be talking about politics. We will be talking about silly stuff. Yeah, right, exactly, Daniel. The mid-'80s, the Roman ruins were trash littered and graffitied. That's where you have to you have to ask, where is the civility? Some people's kids. Well, some kids' parents didn't teach them. And that's the sad part. We have the ability. And I'm going to say my normal saying, we're the top 4%. We were taught, if you came in the military with that kind of attitude, it usually found its way out. You normally, at some point, lost that attitude, or you were out of the military, at least when I was in. We had kids that came in with that attitude, and didn't go over so well. And some of them adjusted, and some of them didn't. The military has a way, especially when it's war, a way of getting those me-me-meers. Because those me-me-meers have to depend on someone to save their butts. I agree with you. ISIS destroyed some of humanity's oldest ruins. Not just ISIS, though. Iran did. Palestine did. The Palestinians have. And even Syrians have. They don't want you to remember, and they also try to take away what others would consider a landmark, because they think that's a way of erasing history. History repeats itself if it's not remembered. And that's the one thing you can count on. Pookie, but leave it to the U.S. Army to draw penises on random stuff. Guys, we'll be guys. We'll do stupid stuff. It doesn't mean we don't do stupid stuff. That's one thing. But to go as far as becoming a public nuisance, that's a whole nother. All parties in war have destroyed culture in some ways. I agree with you, Ari. You're right there. Every war, both parties have always destroyed something. On purpose or not on purpose. It happens. And it's a sad part of war. Things do get destroyed or lost. I'm going to say what I said at the end of last week. That's the reason we need you, the brotherhood and sisterhood, to join in and think about what you're going to do for the rest of your life. And if you think you can be a teacher, be a teacher. Because our kids need you. Exactly, Pookie. And he who knows his history is doomed to sit by and watch idiots repeat it. I'll agree with you. Being a teacher, like I said, I would love to be a teacher. I can't put in the days that they require. For those of you that already receive a disability check, being a teacher would be rewarding, because at that point, it's not like you would have to worry about your paycheck as much. And you would at that point be able to mold some minds like you did when you were in the military. I know I helped people when I was in the military. I know I made a difference. Not because I think that I'm all that in a bag of chips, but because when things happened, I got phone calls from people who were my privates and specialists, and they were calling me because they knew I was the one who taught them that. And they were calling me because they wanted to make sure. And some of them actually called and said thank you. And that means a lot to me. You can make that difference too, guys. You're more than just a disabled veteran walking around in unicorn pajamas laughing at people. You can and are the top 4% of the United States, no matter what anybody says. All right, everybody. I hope the Super Bowl's still going strong. Hopefully, go Chiefs. Everybody have fun. Everybody have a good week. Kansas City's winning. Cool. I'm glad to hear it. Everybody, keep it simple. I always say that, and I mean it. Keep it simple. Pookie. Keep it real. And don't forget to smile. Because you just don't know who needs to see that smile, including yourself. All right, everybody. This is Al. I almost forgot. We actually do have I almost forgot housekeeping. Let me go back real quick. I do have a guest next week on Koz. I will be interviewing him in the second hour. Den Katana from OP Veteran. Den Katana is the CEO of OP Veteran, and OP Veteran vision is to lessen the weight of each veteran's ruck by providing purpose, direction, and motivation by encouraging engagement within the veteran community through continuing the mission of watching over our own. This is accomplished by establishing a fundraising and volunteer support system that empowers the veteran nonprofit community. Denny is a returning guest and will be on to talk about their 5th annual spring kickoff. So please show up for that. Okay, everybody? Kansas City won. Go Chiefs. Good to hear it. Okay, we do have Monday and Thursday shows now. They are back on schedule, and we are expecting 1 or 2 more in the works. Just saying, everybody. So, we have the Monday night edition with Flash and Ice, and we have the Thursday night edition with Ice and Spanky. And then, of course, you have Kicking It with Koz. That's Koz and me, Owl. Now I can say, everybody, keep it simple, keep it real, and remember to smile, because, again, you don't know who you just helped, including yourself. All right, everybody, I will see you next week. Keep yourself safe. Let the smiles and the sunshine shine through. And remember, you are loved from everyone in Kicking It with Koz. All right, everybody. Love y'all, and good night. Shots.
Before coffee on a Tuesday, it's already been a bad week. My girls had a couple flats, and my dishwasher sprung a leak. From the kitchen, her complaining, you know it just ain't cute anymore. I get the itch and start to drift towards the great outdoors. I smell the honeysuckle blooms, I can see the red buds too. In my garage, I got rods up on the wall. I got a John boat in the yard under a faded camo tarp. I need a reset to my spot. I hear the call. I just gone fishing. Let her know that I ain't gone. Junk mail don't come out there. My phone won't ring. The only thing I want to hear is my reel with a big one on a string. That large mouth don't talk at all, and my weight just sinks away. Set him free, bring him home. The one decision I gotta make. I smell the honeysuckle blooms, I can see the red buds too. In my garage, I got rods up on the wall. I got a John boat in the yard under a faded camo tarp. I need a reset to my spot. I hear the call. I've just gone fishing. Let her know that I ain't gone. I got my tackle box in the front seat and my best friend in the bed. Don't come looking for me, 'cause I ain't coming home till long after that sun sets. I smell the honeysuckle blooms, I can see the red buds too. I got the rods in my garage down on the wall. Threw my John boat in the truck, filled my camo cooler up. I hit the reset, hit my spot, and heeded that call. I just gone fishing, let her know that I ain't gone. No, I ain't gone missing, I've just gone fishing. Let her know that I ain't gone.
WTF Nation Radio.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show.